Welcome once again to another episode of my Scholarly Journey series. Today I'll be speaking to a young lady by name Freda. And if you are new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell that pops up after so that you'd be alerted anytime I post a content. Right, so hi Freda.
Hi, Cyril.
Do you mind telling me a bit about yourself? I want to know where you had your basic education all the way to where you had your undergrad.
I started basic school in um, Achimota Primary School, and then I went on to have my secondary education in Accra High, and then to Legon. In
Okay.
Accra High, I read business, and then in Legon, I did my first bachelor in psychology, and then sociology.
All right.
Then I did my national service, then went back to Legon to do law, and then that's where it all continued. Now I am in the Netherlands to do my LLM. Just actually completed, waiting to graduate. So that's it.
At what stage did you realize you wanted to do law? Because I'm wondering why you didn't go directly into law from high school.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. To be honest, I didn't have law in mind. Um, I wanted to be an accountant. I remember when I was in before entering SHS, I said, okay, I wasn't really sure what to do. I actually did business in SHS, but by the time I completed SHS and I applied to Legon at that time to do business administration, I didn't get admission.
Okay.
So admin was my first choice, and then I chose psychology, sociology, and the others. And then, fortunately, unfortunately, I got psychology, and then I went and Legon was the only university I had applied to, and so I went to do psychology. After psychology, I found myself doing my national service at the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And in the Foreign Affairs Ministry, I was at the legal bureau. So I believe that's where the desire to be a lawyer started, because all throughout this time, I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But after working at the legal bureau of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, that's desire, after working with the lawyers and then learning from them, I started developing that passion to read law, and here I am today.
All right. When you were applying to law school, what were the requirements? Is it everyone with an undergrad in any field that can apply to the law program, or there were specifics?
Um, yeah, so in Legon, it didn't matter at all what your background was. You could have read science, anything. Like once you met their criteria, it was okay for you to apply. Because I think that the understanding is that law is like covers all aspects of life. So it doesn't matter where exactly you got your first degree or what you did for your first degree. Once you meet the requirements, you're good to go.
So how many years was the program?
So it was 2 years at Legon, and then from Legon I had to do the professional law course at Makola or Gempa or Tech. It's for 2 years. So it was 4 years after a degree.
Wow, I'm confused. So you went to Legon to do 2 years law.
Yeah, so I went to Legon first as an undergrad for my first bachelor. That's psychology.
Yeah.
Then after psychology, I had to get a law degree.
Okay.
And to get a law degree, I went to Legon and
Okay.
did 2 years. That was because I already had a degree.
Okay.
If I had gone straight from senior high, then I would have to go 4 years like every other degree in Ghana.
Okay, okay, all
Yeah.
right. So Lego has an undergrad law degree, which is 4 years. But
It's
if you want to go after an undergrad, it's 2 years.
2 years. At the time I was there, but now I hear it's 3 years.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. And also, was it on scholarship or you had to pay out of pocket for the 2 years?
like I had to pay out of pocket. Everything was out of pocket in Legon. Yeah, yeah.
And also with the 2 years, the school fees, is it something that is similar to that which undergrads pay, or you are classified as postgraduate students, or probably
Yeah, so with the 2 years, you don't pay exactly as the undergrads pay. It's a bit much. It's a bit higher, but also not in the category of a master student.
oh, okay. So which
Yeah,
means that on average, um, a lot of people can afford
yeah,
to enter
yeah,
into that program.
yeah. I think if you compare to the other schools, I'm not advertising for Legon. If you compare to the other schools like Gempa and all the private schools, Legon turns out to be the very cheapest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now I want to know about the application. When you were applying to that program, what did you need? Was it just your transcript from your undergrad, or you needed recommendation letters from judges, etc.? What did you really need for the application?
Okay. So in for applying to Legon, you after you have your bachelor's or your degree, you needed to get references from your lecturers. So
Okay.
you need. I think I needed two academic references from my previous lecturers, and also you needed to write an entrance exams and then go for an interview as a postgraduate student. So if you had your degree and entering into the law school for LLB, you needed to do an entrance exams, go for an interview. And so basically that was it. You did not have to get references from a judge or anything of that sort. You just needed academic references.
Right. You are saying you took an entrance exam.
Yeah.
So with the entrance exam, what did it cover? Was it current affairs or math? Well,
Yeah, right. The entrance exams covered current affairs. It could just be anything at all that was happening at the time, and you'll be asked to write an essay about it. So that was basically what it was about. Yeah,
oh, so it was more of an essay, not an
yeah, it was
MCQ
an
kind of
essay,
thing.
but it was you will be seated in an exam hall, and then just like how you take any other exams, yeah. It was mostly based on current issues, things that were actually going around at the time.
All
I
right.
don't remember, yeah, but then I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So now you're done with your law in Legon. Did you work, or you went directly to Makola?
No, I didn't work. After law in Legon, I went directly to Makola for 2 years. But the good thing is that in the course of my study at Makola, there was mandatory internship. During my time, you had to do a 6 month internship before you were called to the bar. So I think, yeah, so that was work for me. Yeah.
Okay. You keep saying during my time. Around what year was this?
This was in 2016. That was when I entered into Makola.
Okay.
But now it's changed. At least I think it has changed now. You don't need to do the internship while you are in school. I think you can do it after you are done. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. And then with the application to Makola, I know you take an exam, right? So aside the exams also, what in your opinion do you think helps boost your application when you are applying to Makola?
Okay. For Makola, it's after the exam. I think it's is that you would have passed all the courses in your undergrad. So even if you pass the exams, the entrance exams to Makola, and you do not pass specific courses in your bachelor's or in your LLB program, you obviously cannot enter Makola. And then also, there's nothing really that stops you. You don't need you just have to meet the criteria. I think you need references from your lecturers in law school and all that, but it doesn't really have to be a specific something. You just write the exams, pass it. Now you don't need to do an interview. Initially, you had to do an interview, but now you don't have to do it. Once you pass the exams, you have met all the courses that are necessary to enter into Makola, you are good to go.
And at Makola also, with the fees, is it something that the average Ghanaian or a middle class person can afford, or you have to be from a privileged family before you can take care of that fees?
I'm not from a privileged family, but
Okay.
yeah. So I think that it's just a matter of being determined to get something, um, and I wouldn't say that is for people who are privileged. I think that education, they always say, is expensive. You wouldn't have things easy, but it's something. It's okay to the extent that if you are forceful a little bit, you can be able to pay. It's not over the top.
Okay.
Yeah,
So when you say
yeah.
when you say you are forceful, is it like you'll be working part time whilst?
Well, well, I had a lot of classmates who juggled work with Makola.
Okay.
Because yeah, but I don't. Well, I don't want to. I'm talking from my own experience. I think that it's something that you can. It's not beyond. It's not something that's beyond. It's okay. You can pay. It's not
All right.
expensive. It's
All
not
right.
too expensive. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know how the law fraternity or things in law school, I don't know how things operate there. But at Makola, do you choose a specialty, or you all do the same thing and graduate with the same kind of qualification?
Yeah. In Makola, you don't choose. Everybody does the same thing. You
Okay.
don't. Yeah.
All right. So after Makola, what are you? You're just let's say general lawyers.
Yeah, so after Makola, you're a general practitioner. You don't have any specialization. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get you now. All right. So after Makola, what did you do?
So after Makola, I did my pupillage. My
Okay.
pupillage was for 6 months in a law firm. And after my pupillage, I had the opportunity to come here and then do my masters.
All right. So how did you hear about the program you enrolled in the Netherlands? And also, did it come with funding? And lastly, what did the application entail?
Okay. So firstly, how did I hear about the program? It was actually I knew that I wanted to be in corporate practice. That was while I was studying. I knew that I wanted to be in corporate practice, so I just put my ears on the ground and asked a few of my seniors what they thought about it. They actually encouraged me that is a good path to take. So I started reading about what areas under corporate practice or commercial law I could be interested in, and I always knew that I was interested in um, maritime law and things like that. So it came like easy for me to decide to do maritime and transport law. And at the time, my husband actually was interested in coming into the Netherlands to do um, a master in finance or something of that sort. Yeah, and so he had already looked out for Erasmus University. So when it turned out I had to do my one of the schools that came out was Erasmus, and we realized that it was one of the best schools for maritime and transport law in Europe, and so it was an easy choice. And then on whether there was funding, no, the second one is the application process, right? Yeah, so for the application process, it was quite easy. There was no application fee. I know that some schools demand that you pay application fee. There was nothing like paying an application fee. All you needed to do was you had to write a letter, a motivation letter, get your transcripts um, in place, get references. I needed 3 academic references, and then I think basically that was it. And it
Right.
was easy. Within a short period, about a month or so, I got the response. Um, and then yeah, so basically that was it. There was no interview, nothing of that sort. But I needed to speak English because the course was an English program, and so I took the proficiency test, the proficiency letter from University of Ghana Language Center to show that I had done all my studies in English.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that was it. I didn't have to take any English test. I didn't have to do anything of that sort. Once I met the criteria with my grades and everything, it was easy to get admission. And then with the funding, I got 80% waiver for my tuition. And so I paid the statutory fee for EU citizens
Okay.
instead of like an international student. Yeah, and then that could be the funding that I got from the school. I applied for it and then I got it. Yeah, so
Right.
that's it.
So before applying, did you know that the school had that waiver?
Well, I went onto the website, the school's website, and I searched for scholarship opportunities. And at the time I was applying, the only scholarship that was available was the waiver.
Okay.
And so I took the opportunity to apply, and then it worked. Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then for your master's, your LLM in the Netherlands, how long
Yeah.
was that also?
It's a year. So I was here about a year ago, and I'm almost done.
All right.
Yeah.
So how did you survive in terms of paying for your accommodation and also your living allowance, your living expenses? How was it?
Yeah. So the thing is, before you come to the Netherlands to study, they require that you are able to pay for your living expenses even before you get here. So it's not a matter of you come here and then expect that maybe someone sent you money. So what they do is that you'd have to like they create an account, and then before you get here you transfer an estimated amount of money that will last you for the year. And this happens to every international student who comes to the Netherlands, at least for Erasmus University. So you transfer like the money, your expenses, and everything that you need for a year. They on their web page they give an estimate of how much you would need as a student to survive on a monthly basis. So you just multiply that by 12 months, and then you send that money into the account. And so when you get here, they just remit the money back to you, and then you can start doing what you want to do with the money. And so basically, I had already planned kind of how much I was going. You knew how much you were going to need for a month and all that. So the moment I got here, I got my money, and that's what I have been living with here. If you want to find out about maybe jobs, like maybe working as a student, it's a bit tough. It's not easy here, especially because of the language. People in the Netherlands speak Dutch, and then English. They speak Dutch and English, but Dutch is more their language. And so it's difficult if you have to find a job and then you cannot speak Dutch. Aside that, when you have a student's permit, you are only entitled to work, I think, 40 hours in a month. And most people are not interested in employing people to work 40 hours in a month. So getting a job here to maybe support yourself is not is entirely or almost impossible, if I should say.
Very well. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So from your experience, how likely or how easy would such a system be for someone in Ghana who, in your situation, just graduated from law school and is transitioning directly to take on this program without working for long to get money in their account? Was it a loan or something? How does the whole thing work?
Yeah, it's really difficult, and I always say that it's the grace of God. But then the issue is if family support, you see. So yeah, it's true that I wasn't working, but I really had support from my family and all that, because they kind of believe that, oh, something good will come out of going furthering the education and then doing all that. So I had the support from my family. But and also apart from this, there are scholarships available. The Netherlands is one of the countries that has so many opportunities for international students. They have so many scholarships available for international students, not even law, because I think that law is a very difficult area to get full scholarships. But for other programs, um, they have full scholarship. There's this package called uh, Orange Scholarship, and it gives full scholarships with stipends to international students. Most Ghanaians Ghanaian students that are here benefit from that scholarship. It's unfortunate that that scholarship does not really cater for law students, but for other disciplines, you would have a lot of international students benefiting from that scholarship. So, yeah.
All right. This would be my last question. What would be your word of advice to the young ones out there? Because for me, for example, this is the first time I'm hearing of someone who pursued their undergrad in a different field and then proceeded to take on a 2-year law degree. So those who want to pursue law, who probably because of their undergraduate degrees currently, they think their dreams have been shattered. What's your word of advice to them?
Well, the word of advice will be um, not to be discouraged about anything, because everybody is different. At the beginning, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but in the end, I found my path, if I should say it that way. So sometimes it might seem as though you don't know, you're clueless, you are indecisive, but just be open to learn. Just be open to learn, and allow yourself to take up opportunities when they come, because it was out of taking an opportunity that I found myself at the position that I'm in. So don't be discouraged about your circumstances and anything of that sort, and just push and get what you want to get. So that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Frida, for spending time to share your story. I'm
Thank you.
pretty sure anyone that would watch it would really be grateful for
Yeah,
committing time off
yeah.
your busy schedule to share
Thank
your
you.
experience.
Thank you
Right.
for having me.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.